Turn your liabilities into assets. Basically, all motivated human beings are supposed to be tough and determined. If that is the case, then such people are ever ready to have mental and spiritual facelift and perform any difficult and complex tasks with greater ease. Once people become aware of their intrinsic toughness, they develop the capacity and capability of an experienced boxer to come back off the floor, wipe their gloves clean in spite of shaky legs, and battle back to become a winner. They refuse to be defeated and quickly learn to fight with all their might. Nothing can hold them back if they are so determined to move ahead. They know how to look for and find their correct place in the community and build their self-reliance every day. They refuse to make mountains out of molehills. In fact, they are ready to open their clenched fist of tension and quickly replace their frown with a big smile. To battle and gain full self-respect become their greatest goal in life, and they turn out to be the most modern detectives who are boldly out to track down the best things in life. Nothing can come in the way for them to stop their progress. Thus they are able to see themselves at their best and march vigorously towards personal improvement and doing peak performance with confidence. If this is the real possibility in life, then why should anyone remain a person full of frustrations and wait at the bottom of the ladder of progress? The challenge is to accept you as the greatest performer and utter like Muhammad Ali did. I am the greatest. You would witness huge improvements at every step by matching your dreams and visions with concrete actions. You have to forget the shortfalls, mistakes, and poor performance of yesterday and stop looking backwards to some of your heartaches. Wake up, stand up and run forward to grab the millions of opportunities lying ahead of you. This can be done by building courage and developing your creative insights for all your activities. Understanding yourself and becoming fully aware of all your talents and abilities means that you have the necessary power and dignity to do greater and more worthy tasks. Extend and take the power and dignity that you discovered within yourself to a new height. Make this your full-time job. You are beginning to turn all your liabilities into assets, and you will soon be called a fully motivated person ready to take the challenges of the 21st century. Keep moving. By utilizing compassion, we can create a sound basis for morality, which in turn can easily be used to help us as well as the people around us. No man is an island, therefore, when you decide to move ahead in a new direction, you must ensure that you are in a good company. People who have developed with your motivational ideas would assist you to create a new world of success for you by becoming your greatest inspiration and assistant. So it is a good idea to develop a team of motivated people around you so that you all begin to think together and act jointly. It is understood that some people give up very quickly and become inhibited. Their feelings and enthusiasm are double-locked and latched behind the surface personality they present and show to the world at large. They are frightened to make any error, and if they do make an error, they cannot come out of it easily. To err is a human failing, and one has to quickly forget about the errors they made in the past. This would be one of the greatest human achievements because it gives you a unique kind of freedom. It is a release from negative feelings, a freedom from fear of making mistakes. So you learn to press on regardless. Remember that even the people who impress you as being perfect make mistakes, but they have managed to drop their mask and allow their creative self to fully participate in their life. They know that mistakes are part of our living and we must admit them, but learn to rise above them to the status we deserve and aspire. We have to formulate our goals with enthusiasm, prepare ourselves to achieve that status and unlock our creative personality. So the time has come for you to get ready, get set and go. CV for victory hanging right in front of you. This does not have to be tomorrow but now. You cannot afford to mourn over each word of your goal by overthinking, but you must quickly learn to cement your aims and objectives in your mind, then act correctly and quickly. You should exercise self-criticism, and it means you are on your way to success, but you must remember to adjust daily to changing situations. Even the most successful people endure stress and problems. They too feel tense, but when this happens they get their imagination give them a big lift. They use their past experiences to develop their present and move into their future. They do not sit and stare at the wall or the ceiling. They do not give up. They begin to find out new directions to get out of the situation. Your most important reconstructive task is to turn your own doubts into your own confidence. Bring out and see the best in yourself and not the worst. Quickly look for and find a cure for your myopia. Stress may be part of our living, but we must learn to quickly stand up to it without any delay. Procrastination means additional tension. It is very important that we must begin to turn our difficulties, problems, and crises into opportunities to progress. These, if left to develop, become our liabilities. So we must convert them into our assets. Many people like you have turned their mounting liabilities into beautiful assets. William Wilberforce was enslaved by nature because he was a lame, a cripple and a deformed person who could hardly stand up on his feet, but he freed millions of slaves of the world through his persistent writing and speeches. He had the power of words and turned his liabilities into assets. Demosthenes was a Greek who could not speak but tried hard to pretend to speak before an audience. Born the son of a wealthy sword maker, Demosthenes was orphaned at the age of 7. His father left him well provided for, but his legal guardians defrauded him and squandered his inheritance, causing him to seek retribution through the courts when he came of age. One day he went to the riverside where he began picking up pebbles and putting them in his mouth one by one. Then he tried to talk by throwing the pebbles out of his mouth one by one. A time came when his persistence made him not only talk well, but he became one of the greatest orators of Greece. John Bunyan was a bad man who could be classed as a morally evil person. So the authorities put him in prison when they found him guilty of misdeeds. HW was a person who mended pots and pans, a tinker. He was put in Bedford Gaol for 7 years on dry bread, dirty water, and a stone as his pillow. These liabilities made a humble tinker into a great thinker. Bunyan wrote the famous religious classic The Pilgrim's Progress. So he too was able to turn his liabilities into assets. Socrates, the famous Greek philosopher, had a liability too. His wife was cruel to him and she nagged a lot. Some men go mad when they face such situation and drink themselves to death or to commit other crimes. However, Socrates chose another direction to overcome this difficulty. He went out on the street to talk to everyone. When the people told him that it was a lovely day, he refuted this by arguing that if it were like this every day, then the umbrella men would go broke and starve. He became the brightest philosopher the world has ever seen. He too turned his liabilities into his assets. There are many other people like the above who were able to turn their liabilities into assets only because they knew what was holding them back, and then they were determined to get out of the cage. Similar examples can be given for other species of animal kingdom. Take an oyster. When a grain of sand gets into an oyster, it has a liability within it because this grain of sand can kill it. The oyster quickly gets to working and wriggles strongly to expel the grain of sand from its body. Its brain is only 1/1,000th, as small as a pinhead, but its instinct tells it to throw the liability out. However, when it knows that it cannot throw the grain of sand out, it turns that big liability into its asset. It clamps it down, closes up, polishes the grain of sand and converts it into a precious pearl. An ant carrying a small straw into its hole meets a crevice, which it cannot cross, so it puts the straw across the crevice, and continues its journey. It never gives up but turns its liability into its asset. Ask, and it shall be given, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and it shall be opened unto you.